The coin trick I'm about to teach you, it is so easy to learn and powerful that feels illegal to know, as it will allow you to win always any bet you want. And as a proof of that, let's make one. I'm gonna flip this coin in the air, catch it, and without even looking at it, if I get crossed, you give a like, subscribe to this channel, and watch this tutorial till the end. And if not, you can skip the video. Hi, my name is Josep Vidal, and for the last 16 years, I've been learning, creating, and performing magic all around the world. Since the short version of this coin trick tutorial is still up to this day very successful, in this video I will not only teach you how to easily force the result of any coin toss you do, but also the best strategies to perform it without being caught, as well as my personal recommendations on which type of coins to use and different alternatives, and finally, and the most interesting, how to implement this coin force into a magic trick. So if this sounds good to you, grab your coin, sit down, and let's get into it. So in order for us to learn and understand how to perform this coin force, first we have to talk about on what makes it work. Basically what makes it work is this wobbly motion that we create, that what's doing is create the illusion that the coin is flipping. What makes it so convincing is not only the fact that it's moving similarly to what it will move when we're flipping it, but also the way that the coin interacts with the light and gives these intermittent flashes that are very similar to the ones that we will see if we'll be flipping the coin generally. So just for you to have a clear view on what's the difference, here is a comparison view of both moves. So now that we understand what makes illusion work, just before we get into mechanics, let me recommend you very quick which will be the ideal size coin for you to follow this tutorial with no issues. As you can see, I'm holding a $1 coin, and you can get any other coin as long as it's approximately more or less the half of your index finger. It doesn't have to be exact, but keep in mind that the smaller it is, the harder it will be for you to force successfully the face of the coin you want to, and the bigger it is, the harder it will be for you to create a convincing illusion that the coin is flipping. So just try to find a balance and get ideally a coin that is a $1 size coin, or at least half of your index finger. Later in the bonus section we'll talk about more in detail, so in case you cannot have access to it, we'll show some more alternatives. So now getting into the mechanics, what we're gonna do is to break down the motion in two clear steps, so we can put our focus and we can talk about all the details needed from each one, so then we can put it together and consistently practice and create the illusion that the coin is flipping. So starting by the first part of the motion, which is the coin toss, how we toss it always facing the same way. As you will notice if you have watched my tutorial on how to do the one card flourishes, the card flick and the coin toss mechanics will be almost the same. Basically what we're doing is to grab the coin or a card, in that case in between our thumb and index, in this case the side of our index, and tossing it like this in this lateral way, that what's doing basically is just making it rotate but always facing the same way. So to do this, basically what you have to understand is on how to place the coin in your thumb, because something that you will notice is that the two fingers have a very separate roles. Thumb will be mostly as a guide or as a ramp for the coin to go to the direction where you want to, and the index will be the initiator or the trigger to get the coin tossed whenever you want. So once you get more or less the position, which in this case will be more or less the first part of your thumb and the side of your index finger. So once you're here, you can start tossing it into your left hand until you start to get confident and see or get the muscle memory to understand how to consistently throw it, and always getting the cross, in this case, facing up all the time. It is not very complicated, but I would recommend you to get familiar with this, because when you put also the upward motion together, it will start to be a bit challenging. But as long as you get familiar with this, it will be very easy. So once we get confident with the coin toss, it is now time to add the wrist motion that will make the coin to go vertically and emulate this coin toss motion that we always do whenever we flip a coin. To do that, basically, is just simply adding the wrist motion, but we have to also keep in mind that the thumb that acts as a guide will be slightly more vertical. So we'll enforce and ensure that the coin, instead of just going to the side, will go straight up. So what you have to understand now here is on how to add this wrist motion and at the same time toss the coin in a way that will make it go vertically and will create this convincing wobbly motion that we are looking for. So when you start to practice and coordinate these two motions together, something that you will notice is that there will be two extremes whenever you perform this wobbly motion. There will be some times where the wobbly motion will be mostly flat, which is very secure, but the illusion is not convincing enough. And there will be others where The wobbly motion is super aggressive, it is very convincing, but at the same time will be very risky, as sometimes the face of the coin that will be landing will not be the one we intended to. So here, your aim is to find a balance in between this almost flat wobbly motion and this aggressive wobbly motion. Try to find the perfect sweet spot so you can always secure that the face that's going to be landing the coin into will be the one you want, and also that the wobbly motion will be as close as possible to how a coin flip would look like. So now I understood the mechanics, it is time for us to put everything together into a sequence so we understand how to consistently force always the face we want to. In this case, first we have to decide which side of the coin we're gonna force. So if you want to follow my example on putting a cross on one side and putting a circle on the other, something I would recommend you is to always try to force the cross. Later in the bonus section, we're going to expand the psychology behind it, but if you want the circle, that's fine. But what you have to keep in mind is that the face of the coin you want to force has to always be facing up initially before anything happens. So once you decided, then you position the coin in between the thumb and the index like so, having the index contacting the coin on the side and also resting on the other side with the thumb more or less around the tip, like this. So important always to make this difference, that the index will be the finger executing and rotating the coin, and the thumb will be the one giving it direction. So whenever we add the wrist motion, we're gonna create this wobbly motion we're looking for. And once it's in position, we add the wrist motion, tossing it and capture it in between our two hands like this. So the reason why I would recommend you to catch the coin in between two hands like this, it's because sometimes you would do it slightly more vertical than you should, and the coin, instead of landing flat as we want to ensure that the face we want to force will be always landing and facing up, what could happen is that if it's too vertical, it will be landing more or less in this position, and depending on the angle of your palm, it might force the coin to flip in the end and get the result we don't want. So in order to ensure and correct this mistake that we could do on the execution, something that I will do normally is to get my palms, so we make sure that even if we capture it like this, we just make sure that the X in this case will be always facing up whenever we reveal the result. So this is all you need to know on how to learn and execute this coin force successfully. If you're liking this tutorial, please don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe. This will help me a lot to bring more and better tutorials in the future. So now if you're interested to see which are the different strategies and approach we can take to avoid being caught, or how to implement it into a magic trick, let's continue to the bonus section. I would like to start this bonus section by sharing with you my personal recommendations on which type of coins to use and which are alternatives in case we don't have access to the ones I'll be talking about. So first, talking about the size and making reference to what I said in the tutorial, the smaller the coin is, the more accurate your wobbly motion should be. If you don't have any other alternative, a 50 Czech crown, €2 or $half coin could also be, but you have to be more accurate with it. So in case you have access to this coin size, a good alternative to practice only is to use a poker chip. But poker chips tend to be very light, so the one you get has to be weighting as similar as a coin would do. Because what's relevant is not only the size, but also the weight, so we can directly properly. So now that we talked about the sizes, I think it's good to talk about the marks we're gonna apply on each side to create this duality so we can put bets on it. And as you could see already, my approach is super simple, is to mark one cross on one side and one circle on the other. The reason why I do that is that, symbolically speaking, it is international to understand what could be tails and what could be heads. Yeah, so I don't have to explain much, and even though people does not speak my language, they will understand what's the difference, and from my point of view, there's no need of much explanation. But if you want to take it in a more elegant and interesting way, I would definitely recommend you to get this yes or no coin that looks pretty cool, and also I think does not need much explanation. So whenever you get yes, whatever you bet on is yes, and whatever you bet no, or make a question, their answer is no. From my point of view, this is a more elegant approach. I really like it, especially if you are performing tricks or you are seriously making bets on it, because it is very clear and you don't have to give much explanation on it. Whenever you make a question that is yes or no, you know, the coin talks by itself. So I would recommend you definitely this coin. You can find it in Amazon. You will have it referenced in the description if you want it. but definitely this is a good option. If not, you can always get a coin and to put yes or no, but eventually with the time, as you can see here, the ink will be erasing. So every now and then you have to mark it and get it renewed somehow. So summarizing my recommendations, get always a coin that is at least as half of your index finger. If you don't have access to these kind of coins, get a poker chip that is as heavy as a coin, approximately. But if you can find it in Amazon, I would definitely go for this yes or no coin that look pretty cool and very elegant. So now that we talked about the different sizes, the type of coins, and the different alternatives we have, I think it's right for us to put the focus on talking about the different strategies and approaches we should take whenever we do this type of moves. And I get sometimes comments of people that already learned this telling me, hey Josep, this is good, I like it, but it is too obvious that the coin is not flipping. The thing is, it is too obvious for you now because you learn it and you know what to look for. But whenever the spectators don't know what to look for, it is not visible to them. It doesn't exist. It's the same as a thumb tip. If you know that this exists, you will not look for it and therefore it will be invisible for you. So the same must be applied here. Same strategy, same approach. Whenever we do this coin flip, the focus should not be the coin, or at least not the part where it's flipping, should be the result. And the way to get away this attention from the coin, we can do it in different ways. So in the situation where you are just simply making a bet or a question that is yes or no, something that will be important is first to condition the spectators and show him or her that the results are purely random. So you're getting yes, you're getting no. So you don't have to make it obvious. You don't have to say, hey, I have a coin that says yes, I have a coin that says no. Just, randomly toss it and show that, this cool coin has a yes and no, and you're getting different results all the time. So once you implemented this idea or randomness into a spectator's mind, this coin will not be as relevant or will not be thought as something tricky because they can touch it, they can feel it, and they saw that there's many results coming on randomly. So whenever you're ready to make the bet, you just place the face that you want to, could be yes, no, or whatever, and now reveal and win the bet. So here, also very important, try to not make this more than once if you're in this situation, because the more result you get into your convenience, the more suspicion you will start to arise. So I will recommend you first to condition the spectator that this is a random coin, that you're getting yes or no randomly, and don't do it this more than once. So in summary, what you have to make interesting is not the coin and the whole process itself, but the result. Because like this, what you're doing is whatever that is around this yes or no answer will be irrelevant to them, because what they're focusing on is to see what's the result and see if they win or lose the bet. I would like to finish this bonus section by sharing with you the way I will implement this coin force into a magic trick. The first idea I have in mind is very easy, and it's I would say the most logical way to use it, would be to force on a spectator. Imagine you are in a show and there's a spectator that has some characteristics that work with a prediction you have, or that he has something or a card hidden or something that you want to bring into attention. So what you can do, very easy idea, is to get your X and O coin and ask the spectators to randomly mark an X if they want, or mark a circle with a fist. So whatever they get, people will start to be eliminated until there's only one. So depending on what your target spectator is marking, you will be getting one result or another until you finish with him and you can continue the effect. I think this idea has a lot of potential, so from here I'll invite you to explore and see the ways you can implement this kind of force to get that spectator or that option you want to work with in your magic trick. But if you would like to get more into a close-up magic, this is the way, for example, I will implement this yes or no coin into a card trick. So let's imagine we have a card that we all know that we're going to force. In this case will be the Ace of Hearts. We can force it in any way we want it. So for example, I'm going to do a T-force, for example. So instead of just me finding the card or guessing it by reading minds, blah, 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 what I can do is to guess the card by asking it to the coin or to an imaginary entity that is, let's say, manipulating this coin. And here we're going to break down the value of the card with yes or no questions. And this is very interesting because we can allow the spectator to ask the questions as he wants to. So it gives this sensation of freedom as whenever we talk about the color, he can ask if it's black or red. And this doesn't matter to us because depending on what the question is, we're gonna be changing the faces we need to force. In this case, for example, since it's an ace of hearts, what we're gonna do is basically, if he asks if it's black, just make sure that the no face it's facing up. So whenever we catch it again, it will be saying no. So then we can move to the next question, which could be, I don't know, is it picture car or number car? No, like this, keep going until we get a full picture of what the car could be. So then we match it with what reality shows that they cut exactly to the car we have been breaking down until the very last question. Here, something to point out is the strategy and the approach we were talking about before, because the focus here is not the coin itself, it's the car that's the spectator has cut into. So here it will be less obvious and more visible that we are doing something tricky with the coin, because we have not only see different results, but also the focus will not be on how the coin is flipping, but how the car we're creating matches the reality he cut into. Definitely keep this approach as much as you can with any of the magic tricks or card tricks you want to implement this into. But if you like to get out from card tricks and get to do something slightly more special, this is my idea on how to use this XO coin that I'm having here. And as you can see, this X and circle can be easily linked or related to the tic-tac-toe game, which I think everybody knows, most of people knows at least. And what I'll be doing, for example, is to have a paper that I will be folding and have on one side a tic-tac-toe game that we have preset and we memorize, so we know exactly how it looks. So this will not be visible and will not be, let's say, revealed until the end. And the fact that it's on the same paper, it's because if I fold it, when I open it, it allows me to show the prediction next to what we did, so we don't have to play with another paper and match the same orientations, so it will be very straightforward and easy to understand what happened. So we're having this folded paper with this our prediction that we haven't mentioned yet, and we're going to start to play tic-tac-toe by showing the results of the coin. Yeah, for example, spectator can choose which part of the square is going to mark. So our job will be just to flip the coin, and then the spectator will have the task to mark which result. Since there are no expectations of a prediction and the focus is on the game, the method is completely invisible because the coin is not relevant at all. The only thing relevant is the results we're getting and how does it look on a paper. Since they're also busy, they will not be paying attention on how you're tossing the coin, not only because they're busy, but also because the results are apparently random. So here's a good strategy for us to very calmly forcing the faces as we need until we finish with the whole square, and now we can announce that we have a prediction and match it together face to face. So that was the tutorial. I hope you like it, I hope you enjoy it, and if so, please don't forget to give a thumbs up. This will help me a lot. And if you're liking this type of tutorials, consider subscribing, as I'll be uploading many of them that will go from basic to intermediate to more advanced, so everybody will have a tutorial according to their level. And now if you want to keep learning with me, I'm bringing you here these super cool tutorials that I'm sure you will enjoy. And again, thank you so much for watching this tutorial till the end, and I hope to see you in the next one. It is a test to see how... Joder, pavo, las tiras las dos, tío. Madre mía. Madre mía, güey.